My own experience of getting integrated into the New Zealand society hasn't been easy. I still feel like I get treated like I've just arrived. I get to places just because I'm a black man. People speak to me louder, and slower. They expect me not to understand what they're saying. Well, my name is Judah, and I grew up in Botswana. I actually grew up in a village in Botswana called Tabala. I met my wife, my late wife, in Botswana in the mid 90s. So we moved here together in 2004. Unfortunately, we lost a few years ago to cancer. And that's me as a young man. A few years ago when I was still younger. Yeah, and that's me and the boys back in the farm in Africa, fixing my pens. Someone did the snap. Yeah. This picture here is my father. My father with Paco as a baby. When I first got here, I had a culture shock because it's very different from Botswana. First was the coldness. Living here, I couldn't tell the difference between summer and winter. It was all like cold. It was. And then the other thing was the language. I had to learn the Kiwi accent. I mean, I spoke a little bit of English, but it took me a while to hear what Kiwis were saying. The English was different, and then the general ways of doing things was different. So yeah, it was a culture shock. It took me a while to learn things. Yeah, this one Bera. Now this is made in Zimbabwe. I said already that's my country home flag, Botswana. That's the landscape of Botswana. It's a typical savanna landscape. Well, here in Wellington, I live with my wife, my young daughter Situnya, my stepdaughter Shiloh, and my boys have got their own flats now.
My dad's into music. He's into sort of culture and whatnot.
I started a band in Nelson. That was like the time, my happy time, when I got on stage and played my songs and made people dance. It was my happy time.
Music's not work for him or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
I think he'd be going out of his way to do gigs long after he retires and stuff. Like,
it's a massive, massive part of him. I think it's his meditation kind of thing. It's something that he will always do no matter what stage he is in his life, whether he's grieving or he's happy. So he's always has music. So I think music is a very big part of him.
Mona wamanyelando yeah 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 yo 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 rialela kosi kama kalema yeah. I studied a few things since I've been in New Zealand. When I came here, my only qualification was music. And then, because I'm always interested in culture as well, so it was anthropology that I decided, man, this is what I need. And what interested me was the migration. And you can guess that was because of my own experiences. So I went into studied Victoria University. So I completed my master's at the end of last year.
I'm pretty proud. He just finished his masters and whatnot. And when we first moved here, he was just picking apples. So it's pretty crazy. So he's done what he wanted to do.
Oh, this was like the activism, marijuana activism, the Rastas back in Africa. Yeah, I'm Rasta. That is my biggest inspiration. Yeah, so Rastafarianism or Rastafari movement, it's not a religion, it's a philosophy. Rasta was something that tells us that we should be proud of who we are and be who we are, and remember that it's our culture that can help us to navigate the world. Yeah.
I mean, he got kicked out of high school in Botswana. I don't know if I told you guys, but he started a mass riot. I know he's like a bit of a hippie or whatever. Started a big riot at his school, and apparently half the field caught on fire, and he got expelled for instigating a riot at the school. Just like some hippie, let me have my dreadlocks type stuff. Yeah. This goes the real straight. You have to have your hair shaved and stuff. And being in Rastafari dreadlocks or long hair is a real sort of core part of the the culture, the religion, I guess.
Getting someone to employ me, I found that it's impossible, including government. I've applied for policy work. I've applied for all sorts, even simple entry-level jobs. Didn't get any. It's always like, sorry, unsuccessful, sorry, unsuccessful.
It's heartbreaking to see him work so hard to try get to a certain position and then, fall short so close to everything. He's not picky about what job it is, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's heartbreaking to see him not even getting the smallest little position in a place that he wants to work in.
I think he was sort of expecting, to finish study and then come out and then, breeze into a good job, save up money, go back to Africa.
Not getting a job doesn't surprise me. I feel like racism plays a part in there, And I've been looking for work for the last 10 years. And the only work I can get is unskilled work, I can tell you that. I've done agriculture, I've done horticulture, I've done gardening. The way it happens is like, because I'm not a proper Kiwi, it's hard for me to get the proper Kiwi job. So I gotta get the ones that Kiwis don't like. Also, one of those long days, been gardening all day and then the lawnmower broke. And then when this blade stopped spinning, and then I thought, what's going on here? And then I went to have a look. I forgot to turn it off because I was so tired. And I put my hand then underneath, and then the blade started spinning again. So a split seconds, and I pull out my finger. The bone was sticking out. I come to New Zealand with full 10 fingers, and I'm gonna go back with 9.5.
On the way back from PAK'nSAVE one time, and like these guys just like pulled up next to us and they're just like driving real slow, like doing like Nazi slits out of the car. And they were like, oh, yeah.
And then started shouting, fuck off, things like that, in front of our kids. Those kind of things, they do hurt, and you don't forget about them. You can't forget that. It makes you feel self-conscious, and it makes you be aware of how people are looking at you, and people's actions, and people's remarks, and the words, and even actions to other people. You start it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you are not home. Yeah.
That was pretty much the last straw that he decided from there that we have to move to Wellington because it was a bit more diverse and felt a little bit more welcome than Nelson.
I want to have a vegetarian burger.
Why are you still going?
I'm still vegetarian, man. This time I put my foot down and I'm not going back to meat.
You're really going all out.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to eat healthy. But now and then I'll have a bit of cheese.
I'm sure now and then you have some meat too, right?
I do miss Botswana terribly. I kind of like go through waves of homesickness. There's times where I get really, really homesick and I really want to go. I miss a lot of things. I miss my family. I miss speaking my language and being with my people, So I miss a lot of things.
Like he's always thought about going back home. Of course, that was always the plan, but I feel like now he's rushing to go back home because he just doesn't feel he's had enough of everything, kind of.
I mean, the thing that held me here was I wanted my boys to grow up, and I think they are now at an age where going home is become like part of my my everyday thinking. And my father passing away a couple of months ago, and I feel like I need to go home. And I'm growing, like I'm not getting younger, and I don't want to be an old man here. That is one of my concerns. I don't want to be an old man in New Zealand. I would rather be an old man back in Africa. I love New Zealand. I got great family here. My wife's family, and I got good friends. But there's no place like home. Basimanyana, basimanyana balela boroko. Basimanyana, Basi mañana vale la broma.